John, in your opinion, will cybersecurity remain as an ongoing threat?
Absolutely. In fact, this industry has had a couple of years of having to deal with cyber threats, and the industry's already seen that these cyber threats will continue to grow and advance in their complexity, in the skill and precision in which they're deployed. Many of your readers probably already know this, but the Mirai botnet, which had such a devastating impact, that had over 80% of the devices that the attacks were launched from, 80% of the devices were IP cameras or DVRs. And so, since that's happened, the industry's gotten a lot better. We've seen our camera vendor partners update firmware on a more consistent basis. We've seen evolutions such as Viakoo's own camera firmware update manager. We've put in automatic password analysis so that we detect easily guessed passwords, default passwords, those kinds of things. But let me tell you, whether it's standards bodies, individual organizations such as our end user customers, we're seeing a lot more concerns emerge now because people realize physical security can be an attack surface. A camera's not a camera. It's a small server. It has networking, it has processor, it has storage. It can be used for such purposes. So we're in a race, and that race isn't going to end. And here at Viakoo, we're obviously dedicating some of our innovation and technology development to continue to push forward. So we don't see it happening anytime soon. But I do think the industry's advanced greatly in the last couple of years. And from that perspective we now have, we're going to be better armed and better able to address these threats and concerns in the future. Perfect.
So, is IoT shaping technology's direction in physical security?
Yeah, actually I think it is, and it's one of those things that I even have had a hard time myself reconciling, because I see over the last few years, right, more and more mentions in the press, publications, conference proceedings, how people view physical security. The word IoT distinctly has crept in. So are we being driven now by IoT technology, or the concept of IoT is it driving our physical security technology? In many ways, yes. In fact, I'll even point to just a simple definition of IoT, which is that it brings a scale issue. And that's exactly what camera devices are. When we talk to our customers who have hundreds or thousands, tens of thousands in a couple of cases, of camera devices, they have a scale issue. So that's why things like automated firmware updating, automated password detection, automated verification of system operation, all of those things have to be viewed now as IoT, because it's easy to do those things on an individual device or a few devices. But when you get the scale that physical security brings, it is IoT. And so we're hoping that concepts like what we've embodied at Viakoo, such as digital twin, that's a concept that really was born out of IoT. And we still actively use concepts like digital twin and other forms of advanced analytics to be able to manage and verify the operations of these physical security systems. So yeah, it's a great question. I think actually IoT and physical security more and more will be woven closely together.
So a good segue, what are some of the issues that the physical security industry are not yet addressing?
Oh boy, there's a few. I'll point to two things in particular that I think the industry is addressing, but can do a lot more and actually would help the industry greatly. One, very distinctly, is standards, right? We are facing now a lot of cybersecurity threats, operational threats. There's public awareness of the importance of being able to, for example, retrieve video evidence. It's demanded. And as various operators of physical security systems, they have no constraints to operate within. Standards bodies and strict auditable standards can really help the industry to advance in that. So I'm really hoping that the focus that currently is there continues to increase. We're active as a company in standards bodies like TIA. We're on the 942 Standards Committee. We're observant to many other standards, such as having been fully audited for PCI compliance and the ability to report on the controls of physical security within PCI. But we'd like to see a lot more focus being given to giving guidelines to operators and make those auditable standards that people can be held responsible to. The second thing that I think is an industry issue that we're all going to have to pay attention to is labor, the labor shortage that's starting to emerge. I've seen numbers. In fact, I went onto LinkedIn not that long ago. There's over 14,000 open physical security jobs. That usually suggests that automation, better ways of doing things, more efficiencies, those can be brought into this industry, and we'll need to. Because if we've gone from more people than there were jobs to now way more jobs than there are people, you can see that this trend is not going to get better for us as an industry. So we really need to be focused on being more efficient in our own operations, being able to train and bring people on board more quickly, and also making some of the tasks, again, turn to automation as opposed to manual methods. That'll help free up resources, help to ease the industry's labor shortage, and help the industry to progress in its mission to provide the safety and security that we all rely on. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you, Joel.